Okay, so this is our review on this double-storey dormer playhouse by FreePort Park. We bought this from Wayfair in the UK, in England. So this is going to be sort of just how we found it to be, putting it together and the general quality of it. We did have some problems with it, I'll go over those. But in general it seems fairly good. So let's have a look.
Right, you lot, it may or may not be obvious by now, depending on how I decide to structure this video in the edit, that we're having quite a lot of problems with this Wendy house, this playhouse thing, and to the point now where it's almost become a bit of a joke, to tell you the truth. We've had a lot of trouble with the roof, where it just doesn't match up. We've had to do our own little thing with it to make it match up, but this side is shorter in length from back to front than this side, but it shouldn't be, because the building itself is the same length all the way from on this side, same length out this side from front to back, or width, or whatever you want to call it, but you know what I mean. And there's all these little problems that really are bugging me. So like I said, I'm not sure how I'm going to structure this video in the edit yet, but quite frankly, the build quality for the price of this, yeah, it's a lot of money, and for the price of this I was really expecting it to be a lot better build quality from the factory, because obviously when you buy one of these you expect it, you put it together, they give you like the shell and they give you everything you need, but you're supposed to finish it off and put the touch on it that you want, you know. But for this bloody money it's really poor. Let me show you some more things. I hate to make it so negative, by the way, because I'm a positive person and we're a positive family and we were really excited about this. But we just feel that the build quality of it coming from the factory has really let us down, and it's held us back a lot. It's on the second day of building now, because we've had to rectify a lot of problems with the actual, what would you call it? Shell, whatever you'd call it, with the Wendy house itself, or playhouse. So I've still got a few more to rectify. One of the things that's really bugging me, it's probably a small thing, they give you these little window blocks to hold the windows in, but they're not big enough, and the lighting's not particularly good here, but there's, I'm going to have to get some probably more lighting, but the gap here, okay, you put that screw in, even if you have it the other way round, so you've got the two screws there, it's still not enough. And even if you try and make it so the window, it won't go no more that way, because of the way that it is. Not only that, you know, there's bits of broken wood all over the place. You know, this bit wasn't even secured. They've nailed it really crappily here. That's been nailed out of the factory. But that's just how it is. No, it's not even secured there. So that was like that. So that's something I'm going to rectify. I need to point out, by the way, that all these little problems, some of you are probably thinking, well, why didn't you rectify that before you put the playhouse together? Well, we decided to build it, rectify ones that we could rectify at the time while we're building it, and then once it's built, we'll then rectify little things like that thing and a few of the other things I'm going to point out in a minute. So we've got, random nails that you probably can't see, you know, where they've completely missed, you know, they've put a nail through there and it's just gone. That's not acceptable in my books. It's not acceptable at all. Personally, I'd like to know where the quality control is, because I know these are made on a production line probably. There's some chap somewhere with a nail gun, comes together, it goes, you know, comes along with a little nail gun. The fact that if that was me, I would see that and I'd go, oh bollocks, I'm going to have to push that back through now and do it properly. But they obviously still send it along the line. But then, where along the line is there quality control that checks all the nails and everything to make sure everything's okay? For that amount of money, I would expect that. One of the other things is, maybe this is just me, but they've nailed that pretty even. That one all over the place. That one all over the place. That one just ridiculous. That one not even all the way down. They're not even the way they've nailed them. So now we've got the first floor in now, which is quite an achievement. It's alright. It's just we found out that it's slightly too long. We had to make some adjustments We thought we must be doing something wrong for it not to fit, but it just seems that, you know, the building's square. We checked everything's definitely square, so it was just a really tight fit to get it in, and we had to jimmy a lot of it apart. I had to unscrew it from the floor and everything. Perhaps we did it wrong. We must be doing something wrong, because it can't be this bad. You know, we can't have this many problems with it. But it's in. What I've got to do now is screw it all down, and we should be away. So we're going to put carpet in our one. I'm going to seal it all up properly, seal all the little gaps up. It's just little things. Perhaps we're being too. It'd be interesting actually for some comments, you know, on the video. Perhaps we're expecting too much for a Playhouse, a Wendy house. Are we expecting too much? You know, we just thought for about 830 quid we'd get something that's pretty superior in quality, you know. To get it, for them to build it for you, I think it was £1,300. So we didn't want to pay £1,300 for them to build it for us. So this is what we got so far. It's not too bad. There's a few things that I've done temporarily I'm going to have to fix. They're a little bit of a bodge, but as with everything like this, when you're building a Wendy house, you don't just have it as it is. You put your mark on it. You build it and you put your little bit of a mark on it. So yeah, we're getting there, slowly but surely. So we're doing some varnishing.
We're doing painting.
Try and seal it all up.
Hello.
Making sure it's nice.
Lenny's in bed. Yeah, Lenny's in bed, and I'm in there, the old top that he doesn't want anymore.
The sealer that we decided to use was Rustin's Shed and Fence Clear. It's quick drying stuff as well. We decided to use this because it was just the easiest to get at the moment. All the other ones seem to be out of stock, and this one is okay. I've used it a couple of times in the past, and we sought some advice from other people to see what their opinions were. You know, they were like, yeah, just go for it. So that's what we did. But we plan on redoing it anyway, because we're going to do a few modifications. We're going to have to refelt it and other things because of problems we've already described. But it's come out pretty well. It's drying at the moment. We need to sort out the bottom, the base, because there was a miscalculation. So then that needs to be sorted out. So don't worry about that. The rest of it came out pretty well. Some of you might be wondering, what about the sides that are up against the fence and also up against the shed on the back? Well, they were already sealed up and varnished before we built it, so we don't have to worry about those. But when we do have to redo it, we've made it so that we can move it if we need to. Once we've sorted that out, what we're going to do is we're going to paint that base, I think like a greeny colour, maybe, so it blends in with the grass, but we're going to have like a flower bed going around the outside anyway. But the idea that we've had is we can easily sort of jimmy this, move it out, revarnish around the back in a couple of years' time when it needs to be resealed again, and then just jimmy it back in place again. It's not sealed to the ground, you can move it. It weighs 385 kilograms, so you should be able to jimmy it fairly easily with a couple of crowbars or something similar. But that's the plan. Whether it will work is a different story, but that's our plan. So maybe you might like to do a similar sort of plan, I don't know. But as far as the general building of it goes, it was easy to put together. All the screws, I think I've already mentioned, the screws that come with it were bent, so we used some of them, straightened some of them out and used some of them, but we had to buy some extra screws. I will mention that we did get a refund because I complained to Wayfair about the problems with the nails and the bent screws and the two roof sections being, one was 20mm longer than the other, or 20mm shorter than the other I should say, because the longer one was the right length and the short one was too short. So we had to sort that out ourselves. I complained about the felt being too thin and ripping, and it's got holes in it. Complained about the nails, the quality control, and the bent screws, and they gave us a 25% refund. So that's good on Wayfair. We're pleased about that. So you need to sort of have a bit of knowledge, I suppose, on putting things together and using screws and drills and that sort of stuff, and working with wood. But other than that, it's fairly easy to do. We managed to do it, just the two of us, me and the wife, while the kids were running around. It's fairly easy to do. So I'd give it, you know, a good thumbs up for that. The measurements were completely different. I think I've already mentioned that as well. The measurements on the Wayfair website were different to the measurements in the instructions that come with the Playhouse, but they were also different to the actual structure itself that we found. So we had to make the base to just basically make it to the structure, which you should do anyway, but if they give the measurements, they should be right. So they need to fix the measurements on their website and in the instructions. But other than that, you know, a bit better quality control, I think, in the factory when they put the panels together, so the nails don't poke out, and, you know, get them trigger happy teens under control, and I think it'll be, you know, relatively good. So I think I've gone over most of the things that I can think about the experience that we've had. I think I've gone over some of the things you need to take into consideration. I mean, if we had a bigger garden and more space, we would have been able to build this further away from the fence and that shed, and then we could have put it all together easily. We had to build it ourselves basically without looking at the instructions, because we couldn't put, you know, we couldn't get to that side to put the dormer window in, so we had to build the roof and then put the roof on the building itself. But you need to take into consideration you've got to be able to reach all the sides of the building really to be able to put it together, but you can do it in your own way. It'll go together okay. You've got to take that into consideration. Also, like I said about the measurements, they're all wrong, so you've got to take into consideration you're going to have to measure everything to build the base. They might have fixed it by the time you buy your one of these, but in our case they didn't. And I'd definitely recommend buying better felt when you buy this, because the felt that comes with it, as I've said, is crap, really crap. So we've got holes at the top there, so we're going to have to refelt this at some point, and that is where it melted. It actually melted, it was about 28 degrees centigrade last week, and the felt melted on the top and run down. So it's not very good felt at all, so put that into consideration. You need to buy yourself some better felt to put on it, and just don't bother with the felt that comes with it. Something else you need to take into consideration, what you're going to do about the inside. We've got some wood here, some boarding, and we've got some insulation, because we're going to insulate the whole of the inside. So it's a little bit messy in here at the moment, because the kids have been in here and all that already. But we've got insulation and polystyrene we've chosen, and we already had some anyway, so I might have to buy some more, but who knows. So we're going to put the insulation in here, obviously, so you do it, and we screw the board to these joists, or whatever you want to call those. So we've got boarding. So what you're going to do with yours, you need to take that into consideration. I mean, a lot of people would probably just leave this as it is, I should imagine. I can't think many people were going to put flooring down or anything. They'll probably just leave it. We've started to carpet the top so far. We're going to board. We might insulate that as well. Is it worth it? I don't know. But we're going to board this off so it looks a bit better. So that'll be a flat board. The same goes for that one there. It's going to be a flat board. It makes it look a bit better on the eye. So this is all going to be insulated and boarded out. We're going to make this window open. So we're going to put some hinges on here. I might have to redesign the whole window. Not entirely sure yet, but it's going to be an opening window eventually. The stair, we didn't put the other railing on. There's two handrails that you get with the stairs. Now we didn't put this one on this side on, because it came out to here somewhere. And, you know, that's not enough room. You know, when the kids are trying to... There's a railing here. Imagine a railing there going down to the floor. There's not enough room, we felt anyway, to actually go... It's going to be in the way. So we didn't put this other railing on. We just put the one on that side. That's perfectly enough for kids anyway. They're happy with it. They go up and down okay. There's no trouble there. So all of this is all going to be insulated and boarded. So it's going to be flat. they've been up here already and started doing stuff. This isn't finished yet. We're going to ventilate it, and we're hoping, you know, if we insulate it well enough and stick some vents in, all that's going to be sealed up and put little vents and things in. And this carpet's not finished yet. I've literally just put it in, cut it to size. That needs to be recut and put into size. And we're going to nail the carpet down so it won't move around. That's all going to be insulated. That hole's going to be filled in. Sealer all the way around the edges. The top windows I've already screwed shut. It does get very, very hot inside here. I mean, it's ridiculous temperature inside here because obviously it's upstairs. Plus it's, you know, what's the word, closed in. I would like to make these opening windows so you get some draft, but I'm scared of the kids falling out, so I'm going to try and make a system kind of thing. I know they exist, it's not a new invention, but I'm going to try to make them really safe so that they can open, but they won't open any further. I've got to try and get them, you know, so they can't fall out, but that's in the future. But for now, those are screwed shut because the fixings that you get with the windows, those window blocks, are absolute crap. They really are. They don't hold the windows. Not that you can see them. Might better see that one a bit better. They don't hold the windows in whatsoever, and there's not enough space to put the screws in. So those are shit. Sorry, but they are. They really annoyed me, those window blocks. Why would they give you those? I ain't got a clue. So, oh yeah, all insulated. It will be. Even the roof, it's all going to be insulated. Keep it all nice and warm for the winter. It should keep it cooler in the summer. Vents. I've got a radical idea. I want to put a skylight on this side here. The problem with it is going to be getting it to seal up, but I think I've got it covered. I know this is just a review video for this, you know, probably going a bit off topic to tell you the truth. Sorry if I'm going off topic a lot. I do like to sort of ramble, but I get excited too much. But there may be a video coming up on how to install a skylight onto this building here. And getting it to seal, if I can work it out, how to get it to seal properly, because I could just buy a skylight window and stick it on there, but it's not, I think it'd be too heavy and too big. I might have to make one out of some wood and put rubber seal around it, but we'll find out. Anyway, so down here, was going to put carpet as well, but we decided not to, because in the winter, when the kids are coming in and out, you know, their shoes on and all that in the mud, the carpet is going to get filthy around here. I know we can shampoo carpet, but we don't be shampooing it because the water will go into the wood and make the wood soggy, and we don't want that. So we're just going to put some cushion lino in here to make it easier to clean. So it's going to have carpet up here. This is going to be folded down and screwed behind the ladder. So this is like, goes down like that, you know, so it's not just the wood there. It's going to be, so they shouldn't be cutting themselves as they climb up there on their knees or whatever. Like I said, it's all going to be recut, insulated. Might have some vents here, try and get some airflow going through with the windows that I'm going to make open and everything like that. Yeah, so we're really pleased with it. I don't really know what those little slots are for. There's one over there, and there's also one over there, look. I don't really know what those are for, really, to say the truth, but I'm going to try and make this window open as well. Well, I'm not going to try, I am going to make this window open. I've got plans to make it sort of open out from the bottom. So it just kind of folds out from the bottom and has a little latch on here, you know, like what you get in caravans, like that. So I've got one of those on order. I've got a few things on order from Screwfix actually, to try and get this sorted out fairly soon before we get any decent rains. So yeah, there we go. Some people might have concern, I can't imagine a lot of people think to put carpet in these type of buildings. Some people might have concern about it getting damp. But if it gets damp, we just pull it out. It's simple as that. If it starts to go damp and mouldy, we'll just take it out. It's very simple. I don't know why people worry about things like that. But we're hoping that it won't, because it's going to be insulated everywhere. And there's going to be vents for ventilation. But moisture shouldn't really, hopefully, get in. It's going to be well sealed from moisture. And there's going to be ventilation. So hopefully the carpet won't start to go all manky and horrible. But like I said, because that's when we've mentioned it to friends and family, they're like, oh, putting carpet in a shed? I'm like, well, yeah, it is typically like a shed, but it's a windy house, plus it's going to be, you know, we're going to insulate it and make it sealed up from the elements as such. So, but if it does go mouldy, we just pull it out. It's only going to be nailed in with little tacks, you know, so we're not going to glue it. I was going to glue it in originally, but that would be more difficult. So just nail it in and just rip it out then, if it does go mouldy. So, you know, I think that's a brilliant idea if some of you lot are thinking of getting one of these. You know, put carpet on the top floor, or even on the bottom floor if you really want to. So, what are your thoughts on the experience? I think it was pretty good. Apart from the problems that we had with the nails, the roofs being the wrong one being 20mm shorter than the other, and the bad felt, it's all been pretty good, isn't it? We managed to get it together pretty easy, didn't we?
Yeah. And the base trim the wrong sizes on the website until what we got.
Yeah, the measurements being the wrong size.
Because we've got the wrong size base, we'd do it all around.
Yeah, and the measurements being different on the website, different on the instructions, and then different to the actual structure. But other than that, it was alright. The material, the wood seems good to be good wood. It's just the felt was pretty bad.
Yeah.
But I'd say that after we got our 25% back, only after we complained, that was good of Wayfair, wasn't it? That was good of Wayfair to do that. So we got 25% back. So what did we pay for it in the end? 600. It's about 600 we paid. I think it's worth it. Yeah, I think that was definitely worth it. Obviously, you've got to do your own little modifications. So,
varnishing.
Yep, and the varnishing.
Need to fit the insulation in it.
Yeah, if the quality control was better, with like the nails and everything, putting the nails in evenly.
Yeah, it's the people that built it was the problem.
Because sometimes, I think I've shown it, where sometimes there's like 2 nails on each bit, but then sometimes there'll be 3 and they won't even be in line. Some of them will be poking out of where they've missed the wood altogether.
And they've probably got some now, one there.
Yeah, well, I've already
One's
filmed.
poking out the windows, some of them.
I've already filmed some of the nails, so. But yeah, if the quality control was better, it would be worth the full price, the £829 that it was. But because of the quality control issues and the rubbish felt, and well, I suppose the roof being the wrong size is part of the quality control anyway.
You end up with holes in the roof.
You end up with bits that don't quite line up. It's not worth the full price. And in some websites, it's about £1,000. It's definitely not worth that. No way. But I'd say it's worth. We've got a 25% back. I'd say it's worth it. But if they fix the quality control problems, you know, they make the nails so they don't stick out. You know, they actually build it properly in the factory. I'd say it would probably be worth the full price. But that's just our experience with it anyway. Luckily, we're able to fix a lot of the problems with it. So, you got anything else to add?
Just the being too hot upstairs. They need to what's it called? Vent it.
That's something they could do. Yeah, they could add some vents because, as I mentioned before,
it's summer and we can't even go up there because it's too hot.
Yeah, because as I mentioned before, up the top there is very hot and there's no vents. That's something they could improve the design. Is add some vents around there somewhere. Not quite sure. Well, I'm pretty sure where they could add them.
Well, I don't know.
Don't know whether there's a reason why they didn't add them, or whether they just didn't because cost or whatever, or laziness.
Was he thinking about putting a hinge on the?
I'd say it was pretty lazy, to be honest with you.
Was always thinking about putting hinges on the windows, but not doing that idea anymore just because she falls out of it.
Yeah.
But obviously downstairs is fine, it's like nice and cool, but upstairs is where she wants to be, basically upstairs, and she can't sit up there long because it's too hot.
They could definitely improve the design by adding some vents.
She's got carpet up there, isn't she?
Or even they could even make windows that open, but with like a safety latch. That's what they could do, because the windows...
Not even all of them, just one of them at least.
The windows are crap. Very crap. The windows are, definitely.
I don't know if I like the crosses, I think they make it look worse, but other than that...
Yeah.
Like they could have just been wood like the door.
Yeah, they could improve the crosses on the windows.
I don't know if they can see them. Inside it's just like, I don't know, what is it called? Plywood?
What, the crosses?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll show them that in a minute, but there's loads that could be improved. But you got to think, is it worth the money that you're paying for it? You know, how much would it cost if you was to go and buy the wood yourself and put it all together? Probably would be more. But we're happy with it, aren't we? Not got anything else to add. The vents they could add.
Yes.
That could be a feature they could add in, is vents to make it colder up there, upstairs.
Because I'm lazy, I probably would have paid the extra for them to build it, and then they could have found their own mistakes. But you know, it's just me.
If you get them to come out and build it for you, it's like 1,300 quid. Which I don't think it's worth £1,300 just for someone to come and build it. When you could just put it together yourself for free.
And plus we pull it right there and we can't even get to the back or the side.
Well, I've already explained how we're going to sort that out. So.
To do that, but...
Yeah, so if you're looking at getting one of these, I'd say when it arrives, you need to take into consideration about the felt. Buy yourself some better felt, yeah, so you've got that. So when it arrives, you don't use the felt that comes with it, because that's crap. You use the felt. You use the good felt that you've already bought.
The roofs don't match.
Buy some screws. Buy 50 and 70mm screws, because the 70s were bent and the 50s were also a bit bent.
Oh yeah, did you say about the screws bending?
Yeah, I said about the screws. So you've got to buy it. Make sure you've got some screws ready, because when it arrives, if the screws are bent and you can't use them, you can't put it together. You've got to go out and buy some screws. So get them ready.
Varnish.
You obviously need your varnish, although they're supposed to treat it already, but then they tell you to treat it. So you get varnish anyway. Paint it whatever colour you want. In the warranty, it does say that it's got a 10-year rot guarantee, but if it's been modified, painted in any way or stained, then it won't be covered. Which is a bit strange, because they say that they've treated it, but then they tell you you've got to treat it straight away. But then they say if it's been treated, it ain't going to be, the 10-year guarantee is not going to be valid. So it's a bit strange, but take that into consideration.
Oh yeah, and don't put anything on the veranda because you'll lose it forever.
Well, yeah, that's a problem.
There's holes in the floor.
That's a problem you get in all verandas when you've got decking. So yeah, there's all those things to take into consideration. But when it arrives, make sure you check it for the nails and screws that I previously showed you poking out, because if they have, hopefully they've, by the time you would have bought this, and you've seen this and you've bought this, they would have fixed the quality control issues.
What's the name of the house?
Yeah, I think so. Mercia, yeah. Well, you'll see it anyway in the description. There'll be a link to it. I think you pronounce it Mercia. I don't know how you pronounce it. But we've only, like, by this time you see this, they would have fixed the quality control issues, wouldn't they? Hopefully within that. Well, but make sure you check it anyway. And if they are poking out, screws poking out everywhere, just complain, because it ain't good enough really. But
safety of your children.
Yeah, but it's not that. It's just not good enough for that amount. For that amount of money, you would expect it to be properly quality checked over, built properly and checked over.
Quite a lot of cracks in the wood as well where they've done it wrong. You know, they nailed it and just left it and just split the wood. So you've probably got, like, I don't know if there's an example anywhere. There was one somewhere, but it's wrong now. So
if you're thinking about it, I'd say go for it. I hope it's been helpful. I think it's been helpful. Hope we've been helpful to you.
And had fun.
Yeah.
Decorate it. Just like, obviously it's going to be very hot upstairs, so just be wary.
If you're interested, there'll be a few more videos coming up as well, because we're going to insulate it, as I said, put the carpet in, paint it, put the floor on the inside. We've got various accessories that we've got on the way that we're making and getting made.
Got a door number and a name. It's called Amber Cottage, isn't it?
Yeah.
11
Rose Cottage. 11 Rose Cottage.
Oh yeah, 11 Rose Cottage.
And there's a post box that we're going to put on and paint it, and there's all kinds of stuff coming up. So there's going to be more videos on this Wendy House or Playhouse coming up. So if you're interested in it, just stick around. Think about subscribing or whatever, and you'll see how it's going to come along. Catch you on the next one. Bye for now.
Goodbye.
I think you should get this house because it has carpet and you can, it didn't come with carpet, but we can play games and do all sorts of things in it. You can eat dinner in it, do anything. It even has an upstairs.
Wow. So you're really pleased with it then, yeah?
And you can spy on your next door neighbours.
What don't you like about it?
I hate splinters.
Splinters?
What about it being too hot upstairs?
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah, they need to put some vents in, don't they?
So, but overall, would you tell other children to buy it?
yeah.
Would you recommend it? So put your thumbs up then. We recommend it.
Okie dokie.